Okay, I think we are live. Hello, world. Welcome to another episode of Mr. FLIXTER Show. Where I break down movies and pop culture with just the right mix of nostalgia and hot takes. In this week's episode, I'm going to review Happy Gilmore 2. And then, I'm going to rank my top 5 Adam Sandler comedies. Nothing against his dramatic work or anything like that. I do appreciate films like Uncut Gems, In Spanglish, and Punch Drunk Love. I just want to focus more on his comedy tonight. I've never really done a full-blown comedy episode before. So this should be fun. Also got a birthday I want to talk about. There's a death I want to mention. And the weekend box office for last week before we get to the main event. So, let's start the show, shall we? Roll the intro. Live from Niagara Falls, it's Mr. FLIXTER Show on Saturday night. My video. Hello, world. I'm Chris Maitini, aka Mr. FLIXTER. Mr. FLIXTER. So, before we get to the main event, there was a birthday that I want to mention that just happened. So, I will share the screen. Okay, and then that birthday belongs to Steve Martin, the comedy legend. Oh, wait. I'm not sponsored. He was born August 14th, 1945, in Waco, Texas. Here's his picture. He hasn't aged in like 30 years. He looks exactly the same as he's always looked. Let's just go over some highlights from his expansive career. We'll just focus on his acting. Currently, he's on the Disney Plus show, Only Murders in the Building. I haven't seen it myself, but I've heard good things. He was pretty good in Home. I like that one. I haven't heard of Love the Coopers. He was in the Pink Panther remakes. as well as Cheaper by the Dozen 1 and 2. First one came out in 2003. Oh, that's right. It was the villain in Looney Tunes Back in Action in 2003. Let's see what else was he in. Bowfinger's pretty good from 99. I forgot he was in Prince of Egypt. Sergeant Bilko's really funny. Father of the Bride, of course. The second one came out in 95. Mixed Nuts. This one actually had Adam Sandler in it too. So that's partially why I chose him for this week. And it was current. That came out in 94. That's a pretty good ensemble film. The first Father of the Bride came out in 91. Wow. Dirty Rotten Scoundrels is hilarious. 88. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, of course. 86. Roxanne's hilarious. 86. He was the dentist in Little Shop of Horrors. 86. Three Amigos is also 86. That was a good year for him. Let's see, what else do we have here? The Jerk. That's one of my favorites. 79. Oh, he was in the Muppet movie. I forgot about that. Also 79. Let's see what his first name was. Oh, okay. There's an episode of Off to See the Wizard, a TV show. And his first movie was a TV movie called Shepherd's Flock in 1971. How about that? So happy birthday, Steve Martin. Thank you for giving us a lifetime of laughter. And now I just want to kind of commemorate an actor that we lost too soon. His name is Cameron Boyce. He starred in both of the Grown Ups movies, and he was in the Disney Channel movies, The Descendants. He passed away in 2019, but he was born in 1999. He was 20 years old. Here's his picture. So who knows how far he could have gone with his career, because he was a very talented actor. Let's take a look at some of the things that he was in, shall we? Aside from what I mentioned, of course. His last project was Paradise City, a TV show. He was in 8 episodes. That aired in 2021. Okay. So obviously he filmed that way before. And then that's right, there was the Wicked Woods Halloween story. It was like a short film. 2019. Descendants 3 came out in 2019. Some of these I'm not familiar with. Oh, I didn't know he was in the Spider-Man TV show. He played Shocker. That's cool. 2017. Descendants 2 came out in 2017 as well. see, what else is there? The original Descendants was 2015. Okay. No, he was also in the Ultimate Spider-Man show, 2014. There's Grown Ups 2, 2013. It was in mainly TV shows, it looks like. The original Grown Ups was 2010. Eagle Eye's pretty good, 2018. Oh, that's right. He's the kid in Mirrors. I totally forgot about that. That was 2008. It looks like his first project was a Panic at the Disco music video, and Mirrors was his first movie. Interesting. Here's a better picture. That other one was kind of small. Oh, that was kind of small too. See if I can get a little bigger. Go away. Not sponsored. This one. There we go. So rest in peace, Cameron Boyce. You will be missed. Can we just get a moment of silence for him, please? Thank you. Just want to make sure I'm still streaming. Hold on. Here we go. Good. Looks good. All right. So let's move on to the weekend box office for last week, because we had quite a few new releases. Oh, wrong window. There we go. So this is for August 8th to the 10th. So here are the top 10 movies from last week. Looks like the top is Freakier Friday. Wow, that's kind of surprising. It made $28.5 million. Not bad for its first week. Oh, wait, sorry, that's number 2. Oh, no. 1, 2, 3, wait a minute. That's weird. Let's see if I can refresh that. It doesn't say number 1. There we go. Okay. Sorry about that. So yeah, number 1, it looks like, was Weapons, the horror movie that just came out. That made $43.5 million. So that's pretty awesome for its first weekend. Then, of course, Freakier Friday was number 2. I already mentioned that one. And number 3 was Fantastic Four, First Steps. So it dropped 2 spots from last week. Or the week before, but yeah, you know what I mean. It made $15.7 million. And so far it's got $230 million. So I kind of thought by now, well, it's been out for 3 weeks, but for now, I thought it'd have a little bit more. So it's not doing as good as I thought it would do. Number 4 is The Bad Guys 2. It's also dropped 2 spots. It made $10.5 million. And it's got a total of $43.6 million. Number 5 is Naked Gun. It made $8.3 million. And it's got a total of $32.9 million. Looks like it dropped significantly, though. That's almost, well, not almost, that's more than half. Oh, same with these ones. Wow. Hold on, let me just. Yeah. Cool. Okay, number 6 is Superman. It made $7.9 million. And after 5 weeks, it's made $331.3 million. That's awesome. Right behind that one is Jurassic World Rebirth. Again, this one dropped quite a bit. But after 6 weeks, it's made $326.9 million. So it's doing pretty good, I'd say. At number 8 is F1. That's the new Brad Pitt movie about Formula One racing. It made $2.9 million for a total of $178.6 million after 7 weeks. At number 9 is Together. This one dropped 3 spots, but it still made $2.5 million. But wow, look at that drop, 62.5%. So its total is $17.1 million after 2 weeks. Not bad. And then number 10 is Sketch. I'm not sure what that one's about, but it's from Angel Studios. See that? So that means it's a religious movie of some sort. It's $2.4 million, and it's made $4.9 million so far. Now let's just look at the other 5 here. Yeah, I Know What You Did Last Summer, the Legacy sequel. I'm kind of skeptical about this one. It's made $31 million so far. Smurfs movie made almost $500,000. It made $30 million so far. It's been out for 4 weeks. I kind of thought that would have made more money too, but I haven't heard a good review about it yet. So who knows? The How to Train Your Dragon remake is still on the board. It's been out for 9 weeks and it's made $261.5 million domestically. So that's the domestic box office. Now let's look at the worldwide, shall we? But first, I just want to make sure. I've been having a lot of connection issues, especially last week. So let's try to avoid that. Here we go. Now let's do worldwide. So Ne Zha 2 is still dominating the box office worldwide. It's got $1.8 billion, almost 2. And then Lilo and Stitch is in second. That's made over $1 billion as well. Minecraft is a close third. It didn't quite get $1 billion like I thought it would. And it's already streaming, so I don't think it's going to make $1 billion anymore. I think I was wrong on my prediction. Number 4, surprisingly, is Jurassic World Rebirth. It's made $803 million. I thought it was pretty good. I did a review, so if you want to see that, you can check out my channel. What is number 5? How to Train Your Dragon is 5 with $223.9 million. Well, that's a significant jump too. Almost $200 million. Number 6 is actually Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning. I still have yet to see that one, but I'm looking forward to it. That's made $559 million so far. Number 7 is Superman with $588.7 million so far worldwide. Number 9 is F1, still going strong with $582 million. And number 9 and 10, we got both MCU movies. Fantastic Four: First Steps made $445 million so far. And Captain America: Brave New World has made $415 million this year. And then rounding up the top 15, shout out to Thunderbolts in number 11. Significantly less, but still $382 million, still pretty good. Then Sinners, I reviewed that one last week. You can check that one out on my channel too. $365 million worldwide. Shout out to Final Destination Bloodlines. I thought that was pretty good too. I reviewed that on my channel too. That made $285 million. And Snow White, surprisingly, $205 million. I didn't think it would make that much, so good for them, I guess. And 28 years later, again, I still have yet to see this one, but I'm looking forward to it. But it's still going pretty strong, especially globally. So there you have it. That's the weekend box office so far. from last week. Let's go back. All right, looks like things are still going smooth. You like my shirt? What was the shirt to wear? So I just went with a funny t-shirt. All right, so let's talk about Happy Gilmore 2. Okay, let's share the screen. Put me in the corner. Here we go. Now, here. Sorry, my computer's going really slow tonight. Okay, Happy Gilmore 2. Go away. Not sponsored. Here's the poster. It's simple, but I kind of like it. It gets the point across. It kind of teases the movie too, because Adam Sandler's not showing his face, and he's wearing the classic jersey with the classic putter. So yeah, sometimes less is more. So, Happy Gilmore 2 was directed by Kyle Newacek. It was written by Tim Perlini and Adam Sandler. Adam Sandler, of course, starts as Happy. The film also stars Julie Bowen, and Christopher McDonald returns as Shooter. Shooter! So the budget was roughly $30 million. And of course, it doesn't have a worldwide gross because it doesn't, it wasn't released in theaters. Ooh, excuse me. However, so far it has received 47 million views for its opening weekend. And that actually beats the record for Carry On back in December, which had 42 million views. So it's doing pretty well so far as viewership goes. So after all these years, Happy Gilmore 2 finally shows us what happens to Happy after he wins the Big Tour Championship. Still, the question remains, should you give a putt? So one of the things I really like about this movie is how the director brings the same energy that the original had. The cinematography uses vivid colors and bright lighting to full effect. It's just so fun to look at. The camera movements also add to the energy factor. I appreciate the flashbacks that they include. They're good for people who haven't seen the original in a while. Or for this generation who hasn't seen the original at all. Which is sad to say, but I'm sure it's happened. Ooh. So, It does start off with a few odd writing choices. But again, I'm going to keep this spoiler free. I'm not going to ruin this for people. I hate ruining movies for people, especially new ones. I like to give people a chance. It's another reason why I kind of waited to review it this week instead of when it first came out. But anyways, it starts off a little bit rocky. Some of the writing choices early on completely undo the events of the original film. However, after thinking about it for a while, I realized it does coincide with Happy's character based on the original. He's faced tragedies before and he's had to deal with them. These are just different tragedies. And I'll give him credit. It was totally unexpected. Like, I didn't think they were going to do what they did. So kudos to them, I guess. Instead of just repeating and recycling and doing the same story again, you went a completely different direction. Now, that's unpredictable. I do think there are too many subplots, though. Like, there's a subplot about having to make money for a ballet school for Happy Gilmore's daughter. It just feels unnecessary. And then there's this new golf league called the Maxi Golf League. I just don't think that plot line makes very much sense, because a new league for a sport doesn't necessarily mean the end of that original league. I mean, look at what happened with the XFL, if you're old enough to remember that. And then the actual game itself, the Maxi Golf game that they show, that also makes no sense, because apparently there's not really any rules. Anything goes. So that means they kind of makes it so there's no stakes. It does have a lot of funny running gags, though. Like, I like the running gag about how the random items are flasks. It made me laugh, but I can see how this could be problematic for people, especially people who have suffered from alcoholism involving secret drinking. So I can see how they don't find that so funny. Another thing they included that I did like was this surgical procedure that made the golfers golf like Happy does. I thought it was a clever plot point. And it kind of levels the playing field a little bit too. So he's not just this super golfer that no one can compete with. Kind of like Superman in the Kryptonite, it kind of levels the playing field a bit. So that was cool. The original cast members pick up where they left off with gusto. That's why I make sure we're still going. Yeah, that's good. Cool, cool. I'm like paranoid now because I've been having a lot of difficulties lately with the technology. But hey, it's all part of going live, right? The show must go on. Back to what I was saying about Happy Gilmore. I liked how most of the original characters came back, the ones who are still alive. But I was disappointed that there was no rematch between Happy and Shooter. Like, they could have had at least one golf match against each other in the movie. They didn't do that. It's just weird seeing them work together without that conflict resolution from part one. Like, they have one fist fight, and then suddenly they're friends after. The turn of events just feels so rushed. Of course, they didn't really have time for them to build their relationship because they had so many other subplots going on. I liked Benny Safdie as Frank Manatee. He's the CEO of Maxi Golf and Maxi Energy Drink. He was the director of Uncut Gems, which also starred Adam Sandler. Again, no disrespect to that movie. That's fun focus on his comedies tonight. Everybody loves Uncut Gems. If you haven't seen it, you should. But anyways, another thing I didn't like was did Lavelle Crawford as Slim Peterson, aka Chubbs' son, really need to have a prosthetic wooden hand too? That just felt unnecessary because it's repeating the same joke from the original. Didn't really see the point of that. And I don't get why Bad Bunny has such a big role as Oscar, the caddy. He's not funny, in my opinion. The breadstick running gag doesn't work for me because why would he keep excuse me, why would he keep asking people for breadsticks if he's not a waiter anymore? And what if somebody says yes? Where's he going to get these breadsticks from? It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. And it's got a lot of moments too that could have been cut from the film that involve him, like in the batting cage. It's just I don't get why his part is so big when he's not really that much part of the movie, I guess you could say, and he's not very funny either, like I said, so I don't know. I did like Haley Joel Osment as one of the main antagonists. He's great. I love the running gag about how everyone keeps getting his name wrong. That's hilarious. His performance is cocky, yet delightfully droll. And I like his character arc too. He starts off in the regular golf league and then he goes on to the maxi league. So the way they handled that was pretty good too. I also thought that Happy Sons were a funny addition. They don't have distinct personalities, but they do work as a collective angry mob. They made me laugh out loud a lot. And naming them after famous hockey players like Gordie Howe, Wayne Gretzky, Bobby Orr, and Terry O'Reilly is a nice touch. There's more cameos in this than an Austin Powers sequel. Too many to count, but I think Eminem was the best. And that's not a spoiler because that's all over social media. If you haven't seen that by now, do you live under a rock? There's also a lovely dedication to Bob Barker, who played himself, Carl Weathers, who played Chubbs, Frances Bay, who played the grandma, and Richard Kyle, who played Mr. Larson. Oh, and Joe Flattery, who played Donald, the jackass guy, who appeared in part one. So I thought that was a nice little tribute that they did. There's a scene where they're in a cemetery, and then you can see the gravestones. Very touching. Nice little tribute. Just gonna check if I'm still streaming. Make sure to see if there's any comments. Oh, sorry. Sabrina says, I think Happy and Shooter buried their differences because they both grew up and realized they aren't as young as they used to be. Yeah, I can see that. I also like how Shooter started off in the mental institution. That was pretty funny. There's a scene where he's reading The Shining and he's laughing about Jack Nicholson losing it. Sorry, his character. Pretty good. And then the whole thing when he escapes, I love that shot when he steps out of the mental institution and he gets picked up. I just thought that whole plot line felt rushed. They could have used a few more moments where they could have had that relationship develop a little better instead of the whole stupid ballet school plot line. Completely unnecessary. But thank you for the comment. And thank you, Sabrina, for these lovely notes that you made for me. Sabrina's my girlfriend, and she always helps out every week with the scripts. So thank you. I appreciate the research. So, overall, I think you should give a pup because Happy Gilmore 2 was much better than I expected, given the track record for Sandler's other Netflix movies. Believe me, it's not good. I've seen most of them. It does have some odd writing choices, but at the end of the day, it's a fun sequel that's on par with the original. There's no way that it could have done better than the original. It's the same with like Space Jam Legacy. It's good, but there's no way they could have even came close to the original. So I'm not going to hold it to that higher standard. I'm just going to let the movie be what it is and enjoy it for what it is. Does it rely heavily on nostalgia? Of course it does. Does it recycle jokes? Undoubtedly. However, there's something about it that gives it this oddly charming quality. It's fun seeing Happy back at what he does best. People's balls, both verbally and on the golf course. I didn't really like how he became an alcoholic, though. That one, along with some other subplots, like the ballet school, the Maxi League, and then Oscar's breadstick shtick, I just thought were unnecessary. And it kind of dragged the film into this overstuffed territory. I mean, the film's almost 2 hours long. The first one's 90 minutes, so they could have shed like half an hour. And it still would have been a good movie, if not a better movie, because it doesn't feel so convoluted. And you can feel the runtime, too. That's never a good sign when you're always checking to see how much longer the movie has left in it. So I got a big point to wait for that. And the amount of product placement is more in your face than a Super Bowl halftime show. So, is this film great? No, I can't say that it's great, no. But, is it unwatchable like some other direct-to-Netflix movies? Also no. I've been in this with low expectations. And was pleasantly surprised. This is because the directing, the writing, and the acting, and even the way that it's edited, all give this film this enigmatic energy. While Happy Gilmore 2 was far from a hole-in-one, it's a surprisingly fun sequel that captures enough of the original's chaotic charm. And it's not a direct copy of the original, too, so I got to give them credit for that. They didn't just wash, rinse, and repeat. They tried to go different directions. They just went in too many different directions and couldn't focus on one. The first movie is so simple. While bloated with unnecessary subplots and heavy-handed product placement, it does benefit from those things that I mentioned. And it does deliver some genuine laughs. I laughed pretty consistently the whole movie. The nostalgia hits hard. The cameos come fast. And while it doesn't rewrite the legacy playbook, it could have been worse. It's still satisfying enough to earn your time for a lazy weekend. Say you're home for like a Saturday or a Sunday. You're looking for something to watch. Give it a chance. You might actually like it. That's all I ask. Give this movie a chance. It's just too bad this wasn't released in theaters, though, because I think it would have been a good experience. Good comedies these days are hard to come by, let alone legacy sequels that are worthy of its predecessor. So, my official grade for Happy Gilmore 2 is medium popcorn. And remember, Netflix has become Adam Sandler's home. It's just too bad he's too good for it. So there you have it. That's my review. I do recommend you give it a shot. So now, let's talk about the top 5 Adam Sandler comedies, shall we? But before we do that, I'm going to talk about a few honorable mentions. I was going to do a few first and then do the honorable mentions, but screw it. I'll do these ones first, get them out of the way. So tonight we're going to be diving into probably one of the most polarizing, prolific, and undeniably successful figures in comedy. That, of course, being Adam Sandler. Love him or hate him, there's no denying his pop culture impact. And today I want to look at his best comedies that not only made people laugh, but helped define Adam Sandler's career. So that's why I think these movies are important. That's why I think they're worth mentioning. Oh. All right, so let's just go to IMDb. Let me share the screen. Here we go. There's the poster one more time. So the first honorable mention is a more recent one. Hubie Halloween. Sorry, my computer's being a little slow. If it loads. Here we go. Go away. Not sponsored. All right, you're still with me, right? Awesome. Here's the poster. I love this poster. So, Hubie Halloween came out in 2020. It was directed by Stephen Brill, written by Tim Herlihy and Adam Sandler. It stars Sandler, of course, Kevin James, Julie Bowen. It's also got a slew of cameos and supporting roles, like Ray Lolita is in this, Tim Meadows, Maya Rudolph, a bunch of people. You can see them here in the poster. Jimmy got Adam Sandler's Family, which he's known for doing. You couldn't find the budget or the box office for this one. It's harder for the straight-to-streaming movies. But anyways, I love how this movie has that old-school Adam Sandler vibe. It feels like 90s Sandler again. It's quirky and it's festive, embracing Halloween in a family-friendly way. Sandler stars again as one of his characters that has a silly voice, but even though he's goofy, he's still lovable. And it's got a ton of callbacks to his other movies. They even say O'Doyle rules. I wasn't expecting that. I love when it goes through that. I'll talk about that a little bit more too when I go back to the other ones. But yeah, ever since this came out, this has become an annual Halloween watch for me. I watch it every year. It's got a good mix of comedy, and it's got a pretty good mystery too. The first time I saw it, I couldn't predict what was going on. I love the quirky small town vibe it has too. This one takes place in Salem, Massachusetts, so they really used their environment to their fullest extent. It's just a feel good movie. Like, the reason why it's so unique is because it's a modern Halloween themed comedy, but it has the energy of those older '90s movies. So it kind of feels like a throwback. And this movie could have came out in the '90s and would have fit right in with like some of his other older work. The reason I think this defines his career is because it shows Adam Sandler's enduring loyalty to his fan base and his comedic identity. He knows what works, and he keeps doing it time and time again, proving he's still willing to be silly, nostalgic, and inclusive of his comedy crew. Decades into his career, too. You gotta kind of admire his loyalty to his friends and family. So those are just a few reasons why I like QB Halloween. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend it. It could even kind of work as like a sequel to The Waterboy because QB Du Bois is a lot like Bobby Boucher. And he's got kind of a similar story too. He's got this overbearing mother, and everybody in town makes fun of him. And everyone proves that, well, he proves to everybody else that he's just a nice guy with a heart of gold. Heart of gold. And all he really wants to do is help people. So again, this is classic Adam Sandler character that he started in the '90s. I feel like this is kind of like a return to form too after some of those other Netflix movies. So yeah, that's QB Halloween. I just want to make sure we're still streaming. So far, so good. Awesome, awesome. So what do you think of QB Halloween? Leave comments below and we can talk about it. The next honorable mention is 50 First Dates. Oh, there it is. Let's get that poster up. I love movie posters. This one's pretty good. It's simple, but again, it gets the point across. He's trying to serenade her. She looks totally clueless, like she has no idea what's going on. And you can see the beautiful setting of Hawaii. And there's a cute little penguin, so how can you not love that? I love penguins too. So 50 First Dates came out in 2004. It was directed by Peter Siegel. It was written by George Wing. Adam Sandler stars as Henry. Drew Barrymore is also in it, and it's got Rob Schneider. The budget for this one was $75 million, and it grossed a worldwide total of $198.5 million. So the concept for this movie is pretty original, pretty unique. The memory loss, and it kind of raises the stakes. So it adds this extra challenge for the Henry character. The chemistry between Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler is phenomenal. They're a great pair together. And the balance between laughs and real emotion is really good. I love the balance between the two. And it never makes light of the situation, too. It doesn't make fun of people with memory problems or anything like that, or brain damage or anything. It just raises awareness for how people live their lives. It's a fine line, but I feel like they don't ever make fun of people. The Hawaiian backdrop is gorgeous. It's not really part of the story. It's just a beautiful place to film a movie. While the humor is absurd at times, it is pretty imaginative. Some of the situations that Sandler kind of concocts in order to get her attention so that he can fall in love with her time and time again, over and over and over. And the dedication, too, it's pretty admirable. But there is that fine line between being romantic and being kind of sort of manipulative. So I can see how that could be considered problematic too, like the alcoholism and Happy Gilmore too. But anyways, at least they don't go that route. There is no manipulation. His heart is true. His intentions are genuine for his character, at least. There's also a lot of crazy side characters too that make the humor even more outlandish. Like Rob Schneider's character is the Hawaiian. He's hilarious. And it's cool too, because Sandler's character, he works at like this marine world or like this Sea World type place. So he has a lot of animal friends. Like that explains the penguin. There's also a walrus. There's a few other ones too. It's pretty funny. He's got a good relationship with these animals. That must have been hard to film too. And the storyline isn't really predictable either. The first time I saw this, I couldn't really guess where it was going or how they would end up together either. So some of the reasons why this is unique is it's a nice romantic comedy wrapped around a tragic neurological condition. So it's got that blend of the humor and the emotional depth. And the reason why I think it defines his career is because this movie proved that Adam Sandler could tell stories that were funny, but were also genuinely moving. And it cements the ongoing partnership between Barrymore and Sandler. They ended up doing 3 movies together. This was the second one. The third one's not so great. Splendid. I'm not talking about that one tonight. But it exists. They did it. They made a third movie together. It's also kind of set the template for like what rom-coms should be, with the outrageous humor and like the romance part too for the 2000s. A lot of movies tried to be Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore. So yeah, that's 50 First Dates. It's good. It's just not as good as some of the other ones that he's done. So I'm sure we're still going. Awesome. So far, so good. Okay. The next honorable mention is Little Nicky. This is probably one of his more divisive movies. You either love it or you hate it. Go away, not sponsored. I think it's great. Here's the poster. Go away, not sponsored. There we go. This has to be one of Adam Sandler's most bizarre comedic roles. Although he does fully commit to the weirdness. It's got this inventive take on heaven versus hell. It's also had a lot of heavy metal culture, and there's a lot of dark comedy too. This is probably one of his darkest comedies. But I do love all the heavy metal references. If you didn't know, my 2 favorite genres of music are hip hop and heavy metal. So I noticed a lot of Easter eggs in this movie. It's really cool how they did that. You could tell that the writers were heavy metal fans. It's loaded with creative visuals too. I love the character designs for the demons, and I love these set designs for hell. It's really cool looking. And fun fact, Mr. Beefy, this adorable little bulldog, was Adam Sandler's actual dog named Meatball. So it's cool that he included his dog in the movie. I'm not sure who does the voice of Meatball, though. Hold on, let me just check that real quick. It might be Robert Smigel, but don't quote me on that, because he's another person who constantly works with Sandler. This guy Rodney Dangerfield, too. I forgot to mention him. Oh, I was right. Beefy. Robert Smigel. And Dana Carvey has a cameo, too. Oh, Reese Witherspoon. John Lovitz was in the beginning. Kevin Nealon's in it. Alan Colbert's in a lot of his movies, too. He played 10 Second Tom in 50 First Dates. And Reese Ifans, I can never say his name, but he's really good too as the villain. I'm getting ahead of myself though. Little Nicky came out in 2000. It was directed by Stephen Brill. It was written by Tim Herlihy and Adam Sandler and Stephen Brill. It stars Sandler as Nicky, Patricia Arquette, and Harvey Keitel, plus the other ones that I mentioned. So this was the same director as Hubie Halloween. All these years later, they reunite. That's awesome. And that actually does make a lot of sense too if you compare like the visuals to Hubie and the visuals for Little Nicky. So this was made on a budget of $85 million. And it grossed $58.2 million worldwide. So it bombed when it came out. But over time, it gained a cult following. And I remember seeing this when it came out with my friends. It was great. We had a great time. At the time, too, the Adam Sandler movies were kind of like event movies for us. There was like 6 of us. Whenever there was a new Adam Sandler movie, we were always at the theater opening weekend when it came out. One thing I like too is how unique the Little Nicky character is compared to a lot of his other Adam Sandler characters. Like, yeah, it's the same archetype, but just the way he portrays the character is so much different than like how Bobby Boucher talks or how like Billy Madison talks or even how like Happy talks. He's got a very unique voice and a unique look to him. And I love how absurd this movie gets. This is probably like one of the most absurdist humor movies that he's ever done. I like how they mix the supernatural elements with the comedy too. It just makes it so memorable, in my opinion. And it's so irreverent compared to his other movies too. They really go for it and they don't hold back. You gotta love that. It's bizarre, but you can't help but kind of admire it because they had this clear vision and they weren't afraid to just go there. The reason it's so unique is because it's a satanic fantasy comedy that's full of weird accents, strange visuals, and full of heavy metal aesthetics. These are all reasons why this is the most bizarre and original film. I think it's highly underrated too. Why I think it defines his career It's because it represents his most experimental phase. It shows that he's willing to push comedic boundaries to the extremes, despite how box office results might turn out. That gives it this enduring, timeless appeal, too. So yeah, that's Little Nicky. Before I get to the next one, I want to check. Still going. Great. All right. And the next honorable mention is another one that I think is highly underrated, but totally worth mentioning. And that's anger management. It's got a great poster, too. It's simple, but says it all. I love this tagline, too. Feel the love. So, anger management came out in 2003. It was directed by Peter Siegel. It was written by David Dorfman. It stars Adam Sandler. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Jack Nicholson and Marissa Tomei as his girlfriend. It was made on a budget of $75 million, and it made $195.7 million at the box office. So one of the things that I love about this movie is the chemistry between Jack Nicholson and Adam Sandler. It shows that Adam Sandler can really hold his own against Nicholson too. They work phenomenally well together. They have this perfect odd couple pairing. Sometimes it does exaggerate real emotional issues for laughs, but it does put this funny spin on therapy without outright insulting it or making light of the situation. I think Adam Sandler gives a really underrated performance too, because it shows he's got this quieter comedic side too. He doesn't always have to be the most boisterous, loudest person in the room. There's a lot of memorable side characters too, like John Turturro, Louise Guzman, Woody Harrelson. They all pop up, and they all have uh, key moments too that push the plot forward. So there's a great mix of both chaos and character growth. It's got a pretty clever premise too, when you find out what the movie's really about at the end. But I don't want to get into spoilers. I don't want to ruin this. This is probably one of his lesser known ones for modern audiences. Not that many people talk about it compared to his other movies. And that baffles me. This movie's incredible. I like the different therapy sessions that they have too, between not just him and Sandler, but between like there's had those group therapy sessions, and that's where you see all these other side characters. But again, they're all included in the plot. They all have things to do. No one's there for like no reason. That's one of the problems with Happy Gilmore too. A lot of the cameos are just random. So it's like, yeah, what was the point of that? But Sandler's performance, like it's very nuanced. You can see the frustration slowly bubbling up until it just explodes on the surface. Oh, I just got a warning that my laptop battery is getting low. So I gotta plug that in. 1 second. There's a lot of good slapstick humor in this too. And there's a fun reference to West Side Story. They use one of the songs for a running gag, and it's hilarious. Because you never know when it's gonna come up again, and then it just does. It's got great themes too about self-control and how to keep your cool when life gets chaotic. So one of the reasons why I think this is unique is because I consider this a high concept comedy too, because it's just such an original idea. And it gives the film gravitas, and it really elevates the tension too, because you can see how much Jack Nicholson is affecting Adam Sandler's life. They have this constant tension, and it keeps building and building and building until it explodes. And it's got a very satisfying conclusion without saying too much. It shows that Adam Sandler could hold his own next to acting legends. And it still plays within his comedic comfort zone. But it's just outside the box enough for it to stand out on its own without just copying and pasting the same formula again and again. Kind of like what I mentioned with Happy Gilmore 2. It also marked a transitional period where Adam Sandler explored more structured, character-driven narratives. He started giving his characters more depth, which I really appreciate. So yeah, that's Anger Management. Again, I remember seeing this at theaters when it came out, and the people loved it opening weekend in the theater. So let's see. We're still going. Great. So if you've seen Anger Management, what do you think about that one? Leave comments below and we can talk about it. The final honorable mention that I want to discuss is Billy Madison. This came out in 1995. So I was 10. The poster's hilarious. I love the poster. So this was directed by Tamara Davis. It is written by Tim Herlihy and Adam Sandler. Adam Sandler plays Billy, of course. Darren McGavin is also in it, and it has Bridget Vaughn. It's also got a ton of his friends in it too, like Norm Macdonald, like Chris Farley. The budget was $10 million, and it grossed $26.4 million worldwide. So I consider this quintessential Adam Sandler. It's dumb, it's loud, but it's also charmingly brilliant. It's got a completely original concept. A grown man repeating school so he can claim his father's business and his inheritance because he didn't earn it the first time. His father paid his way through school. It's so unique. It has that classic Adam Sandler energy too. This is probably his most unhinged performance. There's a reason why decades later, people still quote this movie. Like, stop looking at me, Swan. And it's too damn hot for a penguin. I can't even say some of the stuff without laughing. It's weird humor, but it just works so well. You just can't help but laugh at it. Those penguin hallucinations say it all. So, needless to say, this is foundational for Adam Sandler's style. This paved the way for all his movies in the future about the man-child who has to learn responsibility and grow up and learn from his mistakes. This has to be his most juvenile humor too, but he was a lot younger too, and it was his first movie, so he was just excited that he gets to make it. I get that. It also includes Adam Sandler's comedy from his comedy albums. It shines through distinctly, especially the reference to the lunch lady and Sloppy Joe's. That's awesome. The supporting cast does great at playing it straight while reacting to Adam Sandler's shenanigans. And then some of the other supporting characters are just so kooky and off the wall. You just can't help but laugh. And another quote I love is Odo rules. And I love how they reference that in Hubie. I think I mentioned that. But yeah, movies today are missing the simplicity that older movies had and that creative juice that older movies had too. This is when movies had original concepts, believe it or not. So why it's unique is because it's a totally absurd premise that's unapologetically juvenile, that it feels surreal in tone because it shifts between emotional and dramatic moments and this brash, absurd, just crass humor is most crass, in my opinion. He kind of toned himself down throughout the years. But yeah, this totally defines his career because this was his big breakout in a lead comedic role. It shows that he's an unstoppable comedic force, which introduced the signature formula of loud, weird, immature, but heartfelt storylines buried underneath all this madness. So those are just a few reasons why I love Billy Madison. This is just one I grew up with and I've seen so many times. I can't even count. It's a classic. I'd even say it's iconic. But as good as it is, I think these other movies made vast improvements on everything that I've talked about so far. This might have started it all, but he's perfected his craft over the years. All right, so let's go back. We are still streaming. Awesome. No hiccups tonight. That's great. So now, I'm going to talk about the top 5 Adam Sandler comedies. So I set it up on Letterboxd, as per usual. Let's get to it, shall we? Let's go to lists. There we go. Top 5 Adam Sandler comedies. Edits. So I put these in the order of their release. These are the ones that are in the running that I will be discussing tonight, if my computer loads. So what's your favorite Adam Sandler comedy? Leave comments below and we'll discuss it. There we go, finally. Even put no drama here. As good as his serious movies are, this is a spotlight on his sillier side. Okay. So, at number 5. I'm going to put The Water Boy. This one came out in 1998. I guess there's not a space. technical difficulties, but if you're still with me, I appreciate your patience. Let me just do something. Share the screen. Entire screen. Share. Add a stage. Here we go. Okay, I'm not sure exactly when I went off the air, so I'll just start with the top 5. Number 5 is The Waterboy. Here's the poster. Okay. So like I was saying, the show must go on. So The Waterboy came out in 1998. It was directed by Frank Coraci. It was written by Tim Herlihy, a constant collaborator. Stars Adam Sandler as Bobby Boucher, Kathy Bates, and Henry Winkler, along with many of his friends. It was made for $23 million, and it grossed $185.9 million. So the reason I think this is unique is because it's an offbeat, character-driven sports comedy with exaggerated accents and physical running gags, anchored by Bobby Boucher's childlike innocence. And the reason I think it defines his career is because Adam Sandler proves that he could create a completely original, iconic character that walks the line between being cartoonish and emotionally heartfelt. This, in turn, showcased his ability to sell both ridiculousness and his empathetic side. It's insanely quotable, too. Like, this movie is where that line came from. You can do it! And how everything's the devil. One of my favorite scenes is the water suck scene when Bobby's trying to get himself angry, psych himself up so he could play. It's hilarious. So, my official grade for The Waterboy is a large popcorn. Let's just make sure. Still there? Good. Okay. Now, at number 4, is Grown Ups. I'm going to leave it right where it is. So, let's go to IMDb. We're still connected, right? Yeah, cool. All right, IMDb. This one came out in 2010. Here's the poster. It was directed by longtime collaborator Dennis Dugan. It was written by Adam Sandler and Fred Wolf. It stars Adam Sandler as Lenny, Selma Hayek, Kevin James, Chris Rock, David Spade, Rob Schneider, and Kevin James. It was made on the budget of $80 million. It made $271.4 million worldwide. So this has a lot of themes about friendship and how people come together in times of tragedy. And this chemistry that they have off screen really shines on screen too. Because you can tell that Adam Sandler is friends with other people in real life. This also has relatable, more adult humor. And by that, I mean it focuses on things that adults think are funny. It's not as juvenile as some of his other films are, but that is there too. Don't get me wrong. It's not completely like that. it's got its juvenile moments, believe me. But yeah, it's all about parenting and aging, and it's about nostalgia too. So it creates this casual, fun vacation vibe. It's more of a slice of life movie than it actually has like a story, but it still works. It's got enough comedic moments that it's not boring. I mean, the pacing's fine. The real strength is the ensemble cast. They really elevate the material. You can tell there's a lot of improvising too. And it leads to a lot of genuinely heartwarming moments too. It's not just silly humor. I mean, there's a point to it all. And you can tell these people really care about each other, like these characters. I guess a better way to describe the humor is it's more middle-aged related humor. So it makes it a light, fun, easy watch. It's a good feel-good movie. It's a good summer movie too. It's all about being outdoors and celebrating the summer. So that makes it perfect for family viewings. The reason why I think it's so unique is because it's a comedy built more around real life friendships than it is plot. And it feels like a reunion party disguised as a movie. The reason why it defines his career is because this is the one that really solidified Sandler's hangout comedy era, where it feels like he just went on vacations with his friends and then they made a movie together while they were there. But the water park scene really is one of the best parts. But yeah, the focus here really shifted from storytelling more to camaraderie. It's all about the ensemble here. It's also launched Adam Sandler's most commercially successful franchise. Although I'm not really a fan of Grown Ups 2, I recommend this one though. So, my official grade for Grown Ups is large popcorn. And we're still going. That's great. Moving on to the next one. At number 3. Oh, wait. I'm not sponsored. I'm just going to leave it right where it is. You don't mess with the Zohan. Let's get that poster up. You don't mess with the Zohan. This came out in 2008. Here's the poster. That always makes me laugh. This was directed by Dennis Dugan. It was written by Adam Sandler, Robert Smigel, and Judd Apatow. Adam Sandler stars as Zohan, of course. It's also got John Turturro and Emmanuel Chikiri. Sorry if I butchered that. It's also got a fun cameo with Mariah Carey. So much like some of his other movies, This has a ridiculously unique, absurd premise. Kind of like Little Nicky, or kind of like Anger Management. The thing about Anger Management, too, that I forgot to mention is it was the first time that he was in a movie that actually felt like a movie instead of just him doing a bunch of random like skits and stuff that kind of are all strung together. There's more of a structure here. It's like a better narrative plot. But anyways, back to Zohan. This has a hilarious satire on cultural stereotypes. And kind of like Little Nicky, it's not afraid to go there. It's all about Israelis and Palestinians. Sandler's over-the-top character work reminds me of some of the SNL characters that he used to play. I can even see this being a skit on SNL. Like this could have started off as an SNL sketch with him as like a recurring character that appeared on several different episodes of that show before he left. And it's got some of the best physical comedy too. Pretty sure he didn't do his own stunts, but some of the stunts done in this movie are just insane. It's a bizarre yet clever look at both identity and dreams. And Robert Smigel's help on the script really shines through because all the outrageous moments that they have in here, this feels like a live action cartoon almost. And it's full of memorable catchphrases like "So let's go," and "I am the best," and "Disco, disco, good, good." It's just a great comedic escape from reality. It's like a heightened sense of reality because everybody's just so extreme and so over the top. You have to laugh at it. This is one of the smartest dumb movies ever made, if that makes sense. The reason why it's so unique is because it's a politically incorrect action comedy satire about an Israeli commando turned hairstylist, full of absurdity, cultural commentary, and fearless humor. Like I said, he's not afraid to go there in this movie. And you will not believe some of the directions this movie goes, too. The reason why I think this one defines his career is because it highlights Sandler's willingness to take risks and it fully commits to bizarre character work, exploring cross-cultural themes. Although I can see how this could alienate some audience members. Again, I can see how some of this humor could be considered problematic, and I highly doubt this movie would get made today. It wouldn't be the same movie at all. So yeah, this movie's just so outrageous. It's so just crass. I can't help but love it. I've seen this movie so many times too. I keep mentioning this point in my life where I didn't have cable, I didn't have satellite, and before streaming services were a thing, I had this small stack of DVDs. One of those was How to Train Your Dragon. Another one of those was The Other Guys. I mentioned that before. And this was one of those movies too. So I can't even count how many times I've seen Zohan. I can basically recite the movie. It's ridiculous. Still streaming? Great. Oh, wrong window. There we go. So, my official grade for Zohan is an extra large popcorn. Right, we're still looking good here. That's great. And the next one is The Wedding Singer. I didn't mean for that to work out the way that it did. It just kind of did. It's kind of funny. So let's do it. You can do it. Wedding Singer. I'd argue this is probably one of his most iconic roles, aside from Happy and Billy. Great poster too. It's got that 80s feel. So basically, Adam Sandler shows us surprise and emotional range for the first time. This is more dramatic role than what he did before. And it's a rom-com done right. The chemistry with Drew Barrymore in this one is through the roof. It's not just endearing, but it feels genuine. And it's perfect for 80s nostalgia as far as music, fashion, and the inside jokes. They all land. It's not just funny, though. It's also very, very sweet. Balancing the two very well. It also showed Adam Sandler's versatility for the first time. It shows that he could do more than just slapstick comedy, that he could actually act too. And it's not all just rage-based like some of his other movies beforehand. Like, yeah, he's angry in this movie, but it's for a reason. It's part of his motivation, and it makes sense why he's so angry. But again, it's not just him constantly yelling and screaming the whole time. It's just bursts of anger here and there. And some of it's really funny, too. And then you got sadder moments, like when he does the song about his ex. When he's singing it, if you notice, he's got tears in his eyes. Like, you really feel the emotion behind the singing. And that leads me to my next point. Adam Sandler really showed his versatility with the musical moments in this movie. He really showed his range as a singer, too. And it's full of quotable dialogue, like, they were cones! And, well then, you just inspired me to hire a DJ. So many good lines. But not just that, it's got a relatable story, touching on themes about second chances in love. And of course, it's full of fun supporting characters. But unlike his more recent production, this feels more like a movie rather than Adam Sandler going on vacation with his friends and then filming some stuff. Because there's such a strong narrative structure. And again, the cameos matter. They've all got a point in the plot, and they all take part in the plot somehow. The script doesn't shy away from the dark side of love, like rejection or loneliness, and the pain that comes along with those feelings. It analyzes why we get married. Are you just in love with the idea of love, or the perception of what that person stands for when considering relationships or marriage? Are you in love with the person or the idea of love? Or are you in love with who the person truly is? The reason why this is so unique is because it's not just set in the 80s with a bunch of references to the 80s. It feels like a movie that could have been made in the 80s, like it could have came out in the 80s. It just reflects that time period so well without looking at the audience. The reason I think this defines his career is because it marks Adam Sandler's first successful shift into the romantic lead, showing he can be sensitive and charming, not just childish and outrageous. This pairing with Drew Barrymore also became one of his most beloved screen duos. He just loves working with her. That's why they kept collaborating. So yeah, what else can I say about The Wedding Singer? It's smart. It's funny. It's got clever editing, especially toward the end when they're both on a flight to Vegas. And then you realize what exactly is going on. Again, I don't want to say too much. But it's got a lot of clever reveals, too. So those are the reasons why I love The Wedding Singer, why it's my second favorite Sandler movie. Comedy, I should say. So, my official grade for The Wedding Singer is extra large popcorn. And we are still going. Great. And now, the moment of truth. My number one pick is, of course, Happy Gilmore. Probably no surprise there. But let me tell you why. There's no competition, really. And not just nostalgia, too. There are many reasons why I legitimately think this is Adam Sandler's best comedy. So, Happy Gilmore came out in 1996. I was 11. So you can see how Adam Sandler was a big part of my formative years. That's one of the main reasons why I wanted to focus on him on this episode. Kind of like how I did the Jason Statham episode. So if you like Jason Statham, make sure you watch that. Happy Gilmore came out in 1996. It was directed by Dennis Dugan. It was written by Tim Herlihy and Adam Sandler. It stars Sandler as Happy, of course. Christopher McDonald plays Shooter McGavin. It's also got Julie Bowen. And of course, Bob Barker plays himself in that iconic cameo. So as far as sports movies go, this takes a cliched sports premise and it puts a unique spin on it. Because Happy Gilmore isn't a golfer, he's a hockey player who just happens to find himself involved with golf due to the circumstances. So you have golf meeting that hockey rage. And that creates this original hilarious premise. It's full of iconic scenes like the Bob Barker fight or the putt-putt course scene or when he's yelling at the ball on the course to go home. Go home! Are you too good for your home? And it's incredibly quotable, too. There's countless quotes that will forever live on in people's collective minds. Like the one I said, or somebody's closer. or that line about what Shooter eats for breakfast. Or Grizzly Adams, or the Mr. Meester lady. That's what I mean. I can just go on. There's so many good quotes. And even though it's irreverent, it's still heartfelt. The comedy is loud, but it has this emotional payoff, which makes it all the more satisfying. It's a perfect mix of the classic underdog story with Adam Sandler's mix of aggression and silly charm. The supporting cast is hilarious too. Carl Weathers, Christopher McDonald, Julie Bowen. They really work well bouncing off the Happy character. But not only is it witty, like the dialogue, but the slapstick humor is hilarious. The fights that he gets into and the trouble he gets into because of the fights. You gotta laugh. It's so funny. On top of all of that, it's got a great 90s soundtrack that completely matches the vibe. Like House of Pain, Jump Around. And it's also got a lot of classic rock in it too. Like Tuesday's Gone. So all these things give Happy Gilmore this timeless quality that still holds up today, in my opinion. The reason why it's so unique is because Sandler combines sports, slapstick, and rage-fueled comedy in a totally fresh way, turning this aggressive hockey player into an unlikely golf hero. That's what I mean by it's a true underdog story. The reason why I think it defines his career is because this film solidified the angry man-child with heart persona. If you think about it, this formula became a blueprint for many roles in the future. Some of them I talked about, some of them I didn't. The other ones, they're good, but I'm just not as big a fan of those ones. And this proved that Sandler could take absurd characters and make them commercially viable. But not just that. Relatable people, too. He's not just a caricature like some of the other movies he makes down the road. I'd argue, yeah, Hughie's more of a caricature. He's like an extreme version of Bobby Boucher, but still, the core idea is there. I love this poster, too. It's a great perspective of looking in the golf hole up at Happy. So, yeah, what can I say about Happy Gilmore that hasn't been said already by not just me, but many other people? It's just got so many reasons why it's one of the best. So, my official grade for Happy Gilmore is an extra, extra, extra large popcorn. That's right. It gets 3 extras. I didn't even give it a can't pass on the side. Because trust me, this movie kicks ass. So yeah, that's why Happy Gilmore is number 1 on my list. It perfected what he started in Happy Gilmore, and it laid the foundation for all the other movies afterward. Okay, not all, but most. So there you have it. I presented 10 Adam Sandler comedies. Each one represents a different corner of Adam Sandler's comedy kingdom, so to speak. And each one represents different sides of Adam Sandler, too. We have the angry outcast with heart, like Happy Gilmore and The Waterboy. We have the absurdist man-child, like Billy Madison and Little Nicky. We have the softer side of Adam Sandler, with The Wedding Singer and 50 First Dates. We have the risk-taking satirist, with Zohan and Anger Management. Then we get the hangout/legacy films, like Grown Ups and Hubie Halloween. There's a lot of overall themes that make these the best, too. All these movies show his range. They go from slapstick to heartwarming people. They have a lot of memorable characters that people still quote, people still relate to, that are still in the zeitgeist today. That's why we have Happy Gilmore too, after all. And then, of course, there's the nostalgia factor. Whether it's an 80s love story or a 90s era absurdist comedy, these movies found their way to stick with fans. Another factor that I included was the cameos in the crew, because Adam Sandler, as you notice, works with a lot of the same people. So, like I said before, you got to admire his loyalty when it comes to the cast and the crew. And he's fearless when it comes to comedy. He's not afraid to take chances. Whether it be the ridiculous voices or the wild concepts, Sandler just commits to everything that he does. Excuse me, sitting on my shirt, choking myself. Not good. Okay. So, overall, whether he's raging on the golf course, falling in love in Hawaii or in the 80s, or playing Satan's awkward middle child, Adam Sandler's career is defined by one thing: the commitment to his style, no matter what critics think or what the box office might entail. He's more focused on his artistic vision. You gotta love that. And honestly, that commitment is what makes him a legend. So, quick recap for Happy Gilmore 2. I gave that a medium popcorn. And then here is my top 5. Waterboy, Grown Ups, Sohan, Wedding Singer, Happy Gilmore. So thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. If you like my breakdown, hit that follow button, leave a comment, and we can talk about Adam Sandler comedies, and share with your friends who still quote 90s Adam Sandler movies today. I've got more deep dives coming soon, so stay tuned. Have a good night. Hold on, let's try that again. What's going on here? Hold on. I'll fix that. There we go.
Did you know that I'm a film critic for Horror Buzz?
Hold on.
Have a great day.
Hold on. Pause. Stop. Let's try that again. Okay. Roll the outro. Take 2.
So, until next time.
I'll see you at the movies.
Have a great day. Did you know that I'm a film critic for HorrorBuzz.com? You can read my reviews on their website, and I make frequent appearances on their YouTube channel, HorrorBuzz Live. So I'll leave links below for that too.
Have a good night. I'll see you next week. Goodbye.